Hey family Wagwan, what is up you guys? Welcome back to another video with the Bonnicks, and today we will be having a discussion about marriage.
Why you say it like that?
Well, how did I say it?
Marriage.
Because it is, you know?
So we're going to be having a discussion about marriage, and we're not wasting no time. Let's just get into it.
Let's do this.
Yeah. Nah. Ta-na-na. The Bonnicks on the rise. The Bonnicks stay up on your TV. Turn up the volume and put it in a 3D. Yeah, yeah. Gather round, can you see me? Come make we have a good time and be free. Sing it again. The Bonnicks stay up on your TV. Turn up the volume and put it in a 3D. Gather round, can you see me? Come make we have a good time and be free. Me talk about everything where you go on, from personal life to politician. Full enjoyment, that we plan. We have to talk about food as a Jamaican, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Bonnicks on the rise. The Bonnicks stay up on your TV. Turn up the volume and put it in a 3D. Gather round, can you see me? But if we have a good time and be free.
Welcome back to another video guys. Before we get into this video, please go ahead and hit the like button as it helps keep us in the YouTube algorithm. And if you don't subscribe as yet, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and become a part of the family.
All right, so let's just get into the video. So today we're going to be talking about marriage. I like to kind of scroll on Instagram sometimes and watch like positive, videos. And so one of the channels that I follow is the Relationship Podcast. And so they were talking about, they do like different topics on marriages and, trying to keep marriages healthy and whole. So one of the topics that they were doing was, is marriage a goal or is it a calling for you?
Yes.
And I was like, wow, that's an interesting question, Like it really is thought-provoking to get you to think about marriage. And one of the reasons that, I like for us to have these conversations is because, it just kind of helps us in our own marriage. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So anyway, I was watching that and I asked Kimar about it. And then we kind of had a discussion and thought that we would just kind of do a video on it and get other people's thoughts as well. So, first, let me just kind of show a clip of the clip that I saw that they did.
Marriage is not the problem. It's the approach that people take towards marriage. For a lot of people, marriage is just this bucket list they want to check off. It's a goal for them. But true marriage is not a goal. It's a calling. Like I feel called to be your husband. It's as if God tapped me on my shoulder and say, listen, this is the woman I want you to serve. This is the woman I want you to provide for and protect and give provision to. It's much easier to walk away from a goal when it's too hard, when you don't want to do it anymore. But you can't walk away from a calling. That's something that's in you. That's responsibility that's given to you. But here's the truth. A lot of people are not called to do this because they're not willing to let go of their ego. They're not willing to let go of their selfishness. They're not willing to serve other people. They are only focused on what they can get rather than what they can give.
So that was the clip that I saw, and I shared it with Kimar, and then we kind of just started having a discussion about marriage, and really just kind of learned some stuff about even each other, our views on marriage, and even just kind of growing up, how do we see marriage and all of those things. So first of all, let's just start out with, what is a marriage? Like, what is your definition of a marriage?
So my definition of a marriage, babes, is two person like commit to each other. You know what I mean? Go in front of the pastor and what you would call what is peace of justice?
Oh, justice of the peace sometimes.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Pastor.
Yeah, and make as I said, make that legal commitment. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like it has to be legal? Like some people, they will say like marriage is just a commitment between two people. Like, I agree with you. Like, marriage is a commitment between two people. So it's vows before God, because you go before like a pastor or a justice of the peace.
Yes.
And, you know, they will do their portion and you will repeat after them. You will say whatever your vows are, or if you have your own written vows. And, you know, it's a commitment before God, but then there's also that legal aspect of it, you know, where you file the proper paperwork and all of that. But, you know, not everyone agrees that you have to have a legal aspect, because you do have something called common law marriage.
Yes.
Meaning, like, if you just, I don't know how it is in Jamaica, but, and I think it varies by different states. Like here in North Carolina.
Like the common law marriage, what that mean? If you've been together for so
Yeah,
long,
if
they
you've been
just
together.
automatically say,
Well, and I guess you probably got to be living together. So if you've been with
Okay.
somebody and living in union.
so I think that's how it is mostly
In Jamaica.
That's how we mostly grow up.
Yeah, so in North Carolina, it's 7 years. So if you know, join together in union with somebody and you're living together for 7 years or beyond, then they consider you like legally married. And then you have some people that just say, like, we make vows to each other and we're committed to each other, and that's our vow, and we consider ourselves married. So basically, a marriage is a commitment between two people, and it could be legally binding or not. So let's just kind of leave it at that, maybe. All right,
leave
for
it
the
at
basic definition of a marriage. So, but one of the things I asked you when we started kind of having this discussion was, like, how do you feel about marriage? Like, before and after, because Kimar and I have been married for 8 years. Wait a minute, let me count it back.
9 years, man.
No, we've been together 9 years.
yeah,
But we've been married for 8
8
years.
years,
Okay,
yes.
yeah, 8 years, because we got married in 2015 and it's 2024, so we'll be married 9 years this year. So now that you've kind of been in the game for a minute, and we are by no means no experts, but we've learned some stuff, you know, through the years. So how do you feel about marriage? Like, what were your thoughts before, and like, what are your thoughts now that you've been married for a while?
I feel good about marriage, babes. Like, it have its pros and its cons, though. But marriage is what you make it. Make of it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not go get up and, like, every day it's a smooth sailing. As I'm saying, it's what you make of it. So me never see myself married. I'm married, like, growing up. But now that in, what would I say now, the situation.
You in a situation? You in a situation?
No, one said so.
Like, what kind of situation you in? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, though. Now that you're married and in it.
Yes. It's just like what would I say? Like a regular, like a relationship, just like you're living in with somebody. You still have to care. You still have to look out for that person and don't be selfish, as you know. Yes, you still have to share with that person and be a part of that person. So I think marriage is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I guess for me, before, I guess most women probably aspire to be married. You know, most women probably think, you know, as young girls, I'm gonna grow up and get married and have a family and da 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 da. And I guess I probably thought that way as well. But I don't remember thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like that. Like, I don't remember thinking in detail or dreaming of getting married, but I'm pretty sure it probably crossed my mind, you know, like, I'm gonna grow up and get married, but it wasn't something that I dwelled on.
Yeah, it never something where me dwell
Never
on
really.
neither, babes, because me never have a mother. Like, we not grow up around that strong culture of that.
Right.
So it's never something when me see. That's why
I think more so as I got older, you know, because then, you know, as women we become, or even some men too, but as women, we come under pressure, like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? And that kind of thing. So I think growing up, I probably didn't really give it too much thought, but because I didn't really see it. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But maybe as I got older, it was kind of like, oh, I want to be married. I want to have a commitment. I want to be, with somebody for the rest of my life, or however you think about it. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I'm kind of like you. Like, marriage is just a commitment, and I don't even want to say like it's no different than being in a relationship, because it is. Because if you're just in a relationship like boyfriend and girlfriend, you're committed, but you don't really have like the commitment to it. You know what I'm saying? You can walk away at any time. But now that we're married, it's like
maybe that
it's
is
more to think about.
maybe that is over here, but in Jamaica, when you're there together, your boyfriend and girlfriend, just walk away like that.
You don't?
No, Katanya.
Okay, that's interesting.
You have to play your part, and you have to do what. It's like you're married.
Wow.
Because if you try to walk away, the wife the lady going to try to trace you, or the man going to try to trace after
Like,
the
really?
lady to get you back. It's different in Jamaica. Like, when people been together for so long, Katanya, and sometimes you don't just get up and leave. They think they have the say so to tell you if you leave or you stay.
The other person?
Yes. Worse if they invested a lot of money, and because they're gonna invest their time. You know what I mean?
So now is that true on both sides, like man and woman? Because I hear a lot of times people say like Jamaican men are jealous.
I think it both based on man and woman. Yes, son.
So the woman would be the same way.
You
ain't going nowhere.
The same way. Worse if she spend her time and she spend her money. And that is over here too. Worse with the woman them too. When them spend them time and them money too.
How you speaking over here?
I'm telling you, I know that the part about over here, Katanya. So when them spend them time and for them money, kind of like a woman.
I guess I don't really look at it like that. If I'm like, when I was dating, I'm like, when I'm ready to leave, I'm ready to leave. Like, if my expectations or my needs are not being met, I don't really care how much time and money I put into it. Like, if it's finished, it's
boyfriend
finished.
And girlfriend thing come like a marriage in Jamaica. That's why you see certain people. Alright, we have certain people in Jamaica, like, they met from they was in high school. Sometime they've been together that long, and sometimes they don't even go in front of the pastor and go get married.
Wow.
Because maybe they have a happy and a beautiful love life, and they tell themselves that they're married.
Already married.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you have to go in front of the pastor to make a commitment or go into the church. I think these things are just, everything is within the heart, Katanya, and it's me and you.
Yeah.
Decide and make that decision to move forward. The church is just the arm, what more than I say now. And nowadays, thing where you just go and they sign up on piece of paper to confirm.
And I think like over here, like we're big on that. Like, we need to make it legal in a sense.
Yes, so I think the church, is just to make it on piece of paper. But the real thing is in your heart, Katanya.
It's in your heart, but the legal aspect comes into play, because if something were to happen to you or to me, you have like legal rights.
Right, and you can get certain things, and me see. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, but if you, and even if you've been together with somebody for a long time, you may still have those rights. You maybe just have to go through different channels to get like, whatever you feel is due to you. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So that's interesting about Jamaica. Like, that's even a cultural difference, another cultural difference that I recognize, between Jamaica and America,
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But the thing about it, that, if you've been with that person so long and the person died, that's why it's good to put it on legal documents.
Yeah,
so
you can have a will.
Yeah, you can get your benefits and,
right.
Because if you don't go on the piece of paper, the family will get the benefits. You was just there holding a spot, Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Uh-huh.
All right, Katanya. So let me ask you a question. Did you have any example of marriage growing up?
Did I have any marriage examples of marriages growing up?
Yes, like you maybe see your mom or your dad or somebody marrying in your life.
Not many. Not many. Growing up, my dad was married, but I didn't grow up with him. And even like nowadays, now I should say, my stepmom will even say, like people always say, oh, I want to be just like them, or, I look up to them in their marriage, and you don't know what, somebody is going through or what they've been through, And so even though, my dad was married and he's been married for a long time, I didn't grow up with him. So I didn't see that. And then even in like my circle of friends, I maybe had one friend that her mom was married. Her mom and dad was married. So that was on, my black friends. Her mom and dad were married, but the rest of my friends were single parent households with their mother, just like I was. My mom was a single parent raising me and my sister. And, but I will say, like, when I was in like junior high school, in high school, I was a cheerleader, and, it was black girls and white girls on the team, and we would take turns going to each other's houses or each other's home to practice. And the white girls, they all had 2-parent homes.
Wow.
Yeah, they all had a mother and father in the home, and their mother and father were married.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think like even in the States, and I can't speak to any other countries, I'm only, speaking about the States, I think that's a difference too. Like, I think white people aspire to grow up and be married. Like, they already know, they see their parents married. They know they're going to grow up and get married.
I think it's that unity is stronger in the white community than the black.
It's the same thing, like, I read one time, like, even with education. And sometimes, like, you might see somebody going to college and they might say, like, I'm a first-generation college student. And I read one time, like, if you go to college, then it's a good chance your children will go to college and their children will go to college. And I could say that that's true, because I went to college and I got a bachelor's and a master's. My daughter went to college. She got her bachelor's and master's degree. And I would assume, that, and it's not necessarily so, but that it would pass down through her children and so forth, So I was basically a first generation college student. My mom did go to college. I think she had like an associate's degree. So that was kind of like the spark in me to go to college. But the same is true is in, just growing up. Like, I think white people aspire, they grow up in a 2-parent household. So it's not even something that they have to think about. It's like kind of automatic, so to speak. And I'm just speaking in general terms because it's not true for everybody. But for the majority of people, I would say they already know, like, I'm going to grow up. I'm going to, have a wife or a husband, and we're going to have a family. But on the black side, like, that wasn't the norm for us, So, yeah, so I didn't really see that, like, growing up in my community.
Unity, that's why the blacks have mostly so much divided and so much, as I mean, downfall, because unity is strength, and that unity is there, and within the white family, and when you're growing up and the kids see that unity and that love in their home with their mom and their dad, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What about you?
Build a better structure. So for me, I never grew up in a household where my mom was married, but my dad got married, and it didn't work out for what reason I don't know.
He was married when you were a kid?
Yes, okay. Yes, he got married. And I have other family member that got married, but as you said, in the black community, like, none of it didn't work out.
So you didn't even have any like real marriage role models, like, growing up that would make you even think like, wow, that's beautiful. I want that when I grow up. I want to be married. No,
because the way how me grew, just because stuff was just normal. My mom, it's not a big deal. Marriage, it's maybe more a big deal over here. or it's a big deal to some people in Jamaica, but to some people it's just the norm. And maybe in the community, when you grow up, children adapt to what they grew and see. Maybe me grew in an environment where it was just the norm. So for me, it was just normal, and me never have a strong example of marriage. As you say, you go to a lot of people, friends' house when you was a kid, and you see that bond. Growing up as a kid, me never used to even go to a lot of people's house.
You didn't see it in your friends either.
Yeah, my grandmother didn't married. I don't remember nobody that I can
like
remember.
even off the top of your
Yeah,
head.
and some of the peoples in the family that I remember, it didn't work out,
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think that marriage has outlived its usefulness in society? Like, do you think marriage is beneficial or is it useless?
Good question, you know what I mean? In today's society, I think marriage, even before, you know what I mean, not just in today's society, but you're just seeing a lot more in today's society. But I think marriage is the backbone to move forward of any society or any country, because marriage is where we come together and try to exercise love, you know what I mean? That unity. So me don't think marriage play out or marriage is not a good thing. I would say marriage is an awesome thing, Katanya. And then again, as you can see, you have a lot of broken family. As you say, people just getting married. Sometimes maybe they get married for the wrong reason, or or it's just expectation sometimes that didn't met. You know what I mean? Like people get into marriage and seeing other people in marriage and seeing them living, and everything is all good. And it's like you take somebody as an example and say, oh, I want to be married like that couple over there. But then they don't show you the problems that they have, So you go into a marriage with a high expectation like that marriage over there. But when you start having problem in your marriage, you know what I mean, and it's not working out, then that's why you see you have so much broken family, because people quick to you know what I mean?
Say
because
I'm out.
Because they think marriage is all gonna be all what they imagine, and not thinking it's going to be a challenge,
Yeah.
This is life. Marriage is just like life, Katanya. It's a challenge, man.
Yeah, and I think it's beneficial because, even like growing up, like back in the day, and it just speaks to how times have changed. As you said, a lot of people nowadays are ready to just give up and say, I'm out of here. Expectations not being met, needs not being met, I'm out of here. But growing up, people stuck it out. You know what I mean? Like back in the day,
That is the difference between now and back then.
Yeah.
Because people just easily, something happen, people just do like this. Things used to happen back then, but they don't do like this.
It's not
they
to say it
work
was
it
easy
out.
back then, but they stuck it out.
That
people
is the
stayed
difference.
married for a long time.
People not stucking it out this time. At least I think people, them are move on. First thing them are tell you, I'm not in for this bullshit. I'm not in for this life. Or
and I think that's playing out in other areas of our communities, our societies in the world as well. Like, where we might have a lot more crime. You have a lot of, like even times have changed in like the music and in the cultures and in, the children.
And worse, we have more like independent people in society too, Katanya. So people not sitting around for the bullshit, They as you quit like this, people telling you, man, I'm out, man.
Yeah.
People more independent now, so they said, man, their standard is high and they know their worth.
And I don't know if that's good or bad, because it's not teaching our younger generation like resilience, I mean, even like I always see like these memes that'll say, like when I was growing up, like we knew what time to be in the house whenever the street lights, were going off. We had to be in the house. But nowadays kids just run amok. You know what I mean?
Unruly, you know?
Yeah, unruly. And I think like it's playing out in those areas of society as well because there's no unity, there's no discipline, there's no structure.
I remember,
and it's
you know,
not teaching
as
resilience.
life a go on, you know, Katanya, I older one, you know, have a firm, you know, and teach and leave back certain things so the younger one can follow up. And as you can see how life a go, it's like everything a come fast and it is going back so fast.
Yeah.
Because it's like no structure is leaving, no firmness, no unity. So everything is just crumbling so easily. As you say, nothing, the younger generation that is coming, they don't really that firm, they're more disrespectful, they're more,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
So
it's
to answer the
nothing-
question, like in a nutshell, for me, like, yeah, I think marriage is beneficial. I don't think it's outliving its usefulness. I think it's still beneficial, and there's still some use in that people should aspire to be married, but not just be married, to have a healthy and whole marriage where there is like unity and strength.
Yeah.
You know. So circling back to the video from Relationship Podcast, is marriage a goal or a calling? Is marriage a goal or is it a calling?
I think marriage is more like a calling in Katanya because it can't be a goal. Goals are something that you want to
Try to achieve.
Try to achieve, you know. It can be what you think. You think
And
it
you
can
might
be,
meet it, and if you don't, then you
yeah,
just move
it
on
might.
to the next.
So me not think it's more would I be like a calling for me because when you call to something, you know, Katanya, you know you call to that thing, it's not going to be easy to move from it or to diverse from it.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I agree.
You have to stick and work up and be the person of that calling because you get called to be that person.
As he said, you know, when you call to do something, you're going to see it through. So if somebody says, like, this is my purpose, God instilled this in me, this is what I'm called to do. I'm called to be a pastor. I'm called to be a mentor. I'm called to be a teacher. I'm called to this. You're going to see it through, you know, versus if it's a goal, you're going to just kind of be chasing things all over the place and you're going to just be kind of running in circles. And that's going to be true like in your relationships as well. And you're never going to really make that commitment to see it through.
So this was a real good topic, baby, and I like these topics because it helps us to strengthen our marriage as well. You know?
To have these discussions.
Yeah, man. So, guys, don't forget to like the Bonnicks video, drop a comment, share the Bonnicks video, and the most important thing,
And subscribe. Peace out.
bless up.